how close is the cashless society to the mark of the beast?
It's already here. My son carries no money. My son does everything by apps, phone apps. China, completely cashless. They scan the retina of your eye. They use your thumbprint. You know, your thumb, not just your thumb, but your hand. There's machines now, and Disney does use this. I've been there where I've seen it years ago, where you have a scanner, and the scanner goes to your card. You insert your card, and it puts numbers on every one of those little fingerprints. And that way it can tell if your card is taken and someone tries to use it, it's not you. System is good, but you can see how those kind of systems are going to develop in the future. So there's no question, and this is one thing stirring the younger generation up to revival, is they now are understanding this, that all these preachers that have been telling them this for years, AI is taking jobs, I mean, all the way down the list, and it's like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? So that's one of the things I think that's spearheading this great outpouring that's about to happen. You know?
Amen. Amen.
And I'm going to move a little bit further. Oh,
yeah, let's keep moving.
There's the kitchen. Get away. Get away.
Now,
get away.
Now, this, if you were looking at the news today, there was a government shutdown today. Mm-hmm. Now, are there any like prophetic implications of this?
Not really. I think it's just a matter of when the Republicans are in, they threaten to shut down. When the Democrats are in, they threaten to shut down. This goes back and forth with both parties. It's just not one party. If I can say this, some of it just to me is immaturity. It's like two bullies on a playground kind of battling each other out and see who's going to win. And some of it should really never happen because to me, they're more concerned about their party and representing the people in their party who don't like who's in by fighting this way, shutting down the government, than they are about the American people, because the American people need their money that they've worked for and the Medicare and all the other things. So honestly, I see a lot of this as just political, a political circus, to be quite honest with you. And it shouldn't happen for the sake of the people. That's how I feel about that.
What's the biggest barrier to building the third temple?
Actually, the Islamic mosque. The idea of the third temple is not everywhere in Judaism, but among many devout Jews, they do believe that the Messiah comes and builds it. Some go as far as to say when Elijah appears, which he will, according to Malachi 4 and 5, and also other verses, that he will be responsible for helping to rebuild it. But the biggest thing is you have the Al-Aqsa Mosque at one end, and you have the Dome of the Rock in the center, and but it's going to get rebuilt. Matthew 24, Revelation chapter 11, 2 Thessalonians 2, a structure will exist there. And here's point two, it doesn't have to be as big as you think. In fact, if you actually knew, we walked it off one time, if you actually knew how small the actual facility is, it would stun you. The space you need is for the worshipers and not for the building. And that's pretty amazing because we walked it off. We walked off. In fact, we got thrown off the Temple Mount because we were videotaping walking it off. And I think the man who was the Muslim guard there knew what we were doing. And I know those guys. You know, I've known them for years. But no, you can't do this because we were talking about the temple. But that was many years ago. But yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Interesting. Okay, now obviously we see a huge rise in anti-Semitism.
Right.
What is the correlation with that and the end times and the rapture?
Well, all you have to do when you want to understand why people turn so much against Israel, all you have to do is go to the 12th chapter of the book of Revelation, and God supernaturally protects the woman who is Israel in that chapter. It's not the church, it's actually the nation of Israel in Revelation chapter 12. So I think what we're seeing is we're going to see phases where God's people, and let me say this, you don't have to politically agree with everything Israel does militarily, or you don't have to agree with everything they do with the government, because the younger generation disagrees, for example, on how some things are being handled at the Gaza Strip. But I will tell you, anytime you get news from out of that nation, you have to get it from the right sources, because there is a lot of propaganda that has always been used, and you have to be careful. They'll say this is happening, that's happening, and it may have happened and it may not have happened. But you're going to see a rise of that, because if Satan can ever destroy Israel, God has to nullify everything he ever promised. It would make God a liar. And I think one of the goals is to say, hey, if we can deal with this, or Satan thinks if I can destroy this nation, then I'll prove God a liar. But The Bible said God is not a man that he should lie, and that God cannot lie. So that ought to tell you where it's going to end up.
Before you leave, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, we would love to hear how the Lord is moving and touching your heart right now. So be sure to comment below, and then share this video with someone you feel needs it just as much as you did.